I used to think love could always be replaced, like you lose one and eventually find another. I was wrong. There are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice. That's what Scott Fitzgerald once wrote. Years ago, I thought it was poetic nonsense, back when my eyes were sharp and my knees didn't announce the weather. I thought love was renewable, like water, like sunlight. Now I understand. My name is Richard. I am 79 years old, and I live alone, in a house that used to breathe with life. Children racing down the stairs, a dog barking at the mailman, my wife Catherine singing off-key while banging pots in the kitchen. Now it's just me, my black coffee, and the morning light sliding across an empty floor. And here's the truth most people don't expect. I'm okay. More than okay. I'm at peace. I was married once, for 42 years. Her name was Catherine. She died 11 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. Fast. Cruel. 6 months from his stomach ached to goodbye. After the funeral, everyone said the same thing. Richard, you'll move on. You're still young. You deserve someone new. They meant well, but they weren't afraid for me. They were afraid of ending up like me. For a while, I believed them. I tried. But let me tell you something no one prepares you for. You don't replace 42 years of love. You learn to live with it. The ghost of a perfect love. Most mornings, I sit here with my coffee. There is a photograph on the shelf right across from my chair. It's black and white, slightly faded. Catherine and me on our wedding day, 1968. She is wearing white lace, laughing at something the photographer said. I am wearing a rented suit that was too big in the shoulders, grinning like I had just won the lottery. I look at that photo every day, not because I am stuck in the past, but because it is my anchor. It reminds me of what real love actually felt like, the kind that doesn't come around twice. We met at a barbecue. I was 24, she was 22. We talked for 3 hours straight about books and baseball. I knew by the end of the night I was going to marry her. I told my brother on the drive home, that's the girl. It wasn't a fairy tale. We fought. We fought about money. Lord, we were broke in the beginning. We fought about how to raise the kids. We went to bed angry sometimes. There were mornings we drank our coffee in silence, the air thick with unspoken grievances. But we stayed. We chose each other every single day for 15,000 days. We knew each other's scars and stories. We built a language that didn't require words. That is what love is. Not just the feeling, but the history. The attempt at moving on. After she died, the silence in the house was a physical weight. I would wake up reaching for her. I would see something funny on TV and turn to tell her, only to speak to an empty cushion. My kids, Michael, Laura, Jenny, they worried. They hovered, they brought casseroles, they brought the grandkids. I appreciated it, but grief is a solitary confinement. You have to serve your time. It took 2 years before I felt human again. I started going to the senior center. I played cards. I volunteered at the food bank on Thursdays, packing boxes of macaroni and beans. That's where I met Helen. Helen was 73, a widow, like me. Her husband had died of a heart attack 5 years prior. She was smart, funny, kept her hair dyed a nice shade of auburn. We started talking while stacking cans of soup. Before I knew it, we were having coffee, then lunch, then dinner. My kids noticed. They didn't say much, but I saw the looks, the cautious hope. Maybe Dad won't be alone anymore. Helen and I got along well. We went for walks in the park. We talked about our grandkids. She made me laugh. I fixed her leaky faucet. It felt pleasant. It felt comfortable. I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the next chapter. One night, about 6 months in, Helen invited me over for dinner. She cooked a pot roast, tender, flavorful, just like my mother used to make. She lit candles. She put on some jazz record. We were eating, and she put her fork down and looked at me. Her eyes were serious. "Richard," she said, "I think we should talk about what this is, where this is going." I froze. I knew what she was asking. She wanted to know if I was serious. She wanted to know if we were heading toward marriage, or at least moving in together. She was lonely, and she wanted a partner to share the end of the road with. I looked at her across the flickering candlelight. She was a good woman, a kind woman. She deserved to be loved. And in that moment, the truth hit me like a bucket of ice water. I liked Helen. I enjoyed her company, but I didn't love her. Not the way I loved Catherine. Not even close. And the terrible, unfair part was that every time I looked at Helen, I was comparing her. I was comparing her laugh to Catherine's laugh. I was comparing her pot roast to Catherine's lasagna. I was comparing the way her hand felt in mine to a hand I hadn't held in years. It wasn't fair to Helen. She didn't deserve to be a runner-up. She didn't deserve to be a placeholder for a ghost. I told her that night, gently, honestly. Helen, I said, taking her hand, you are wonderful, but I can't give you what you need. My heart, it's occupied. I'm not ready, and I don't think I ever will be. She cried. I cried too. We hugged, and I left. I haven't seen her since, though I hear she's doing well. The dignity of solitude. That was 5 years ago. I haven't dated since. People ask me sometimes, friends, my daughter Laura, Dad, don't you get lonely? And the truth is, yes, sometimes. Sunday evenings are hard. Holidays can be tough before the family arrives. But loneliness isn't the worst thing in the world. What is worse is being with someone and still feeling alone. What is worse is waking up next to a decent person and wishing they were someone else. I would rather be by myself than live a lie like that. At 79, I know what I want. And more importantly, I know what I don't want. I don't want another marriage. I don't want the paperwork, the prenuptial agreements, the merging of bank accounts, the wills. I don't want to navigate the minefield of adult children who are worried about their inheritance. I've seen it happen to friends. The resentment, the suspicion, the evil stepmother dynamic playing out with 50-year-old children. It's exhausting. I don't want to learn someone else's neuroses. I don't want to argue about the thermostat or what to watch on TV. I don't want to compromise on my peace. I built a life with Catherine. We raised 3 kids. We paid off a mortgage. We weathered storms. That life is done. It was beautiful, but it is finished. I am not looking to build a sequel. Here is what young people don't understand. When you are 25, you are in the building phase. You need a partner to build the foundation, raise the walls, put on the roof. When you are 79, you are in the maintenance phase. You are protecting what you have built. You are enjoying the view. You aren't looking to break ground on a new construction project. I wake up when I want. I eat cereal for dinner if I feel like it. I watch old westerns loud. I read until 2 a.m. I answer to no one. That might sound selfish. Maybe it is. But I spent my whole life putting other people first. My wife, my kids, my boss. Now, for the first time, I get to put Richard first. And I am not willing to give that up for the sake of having a warm body in the bed. Love versus marriage. My daughter Laura came over a few months ago. We were sitting on the porch watching the rain. She looked at me with those big worried eyes, Catherine's eyes. Dad, she asked, are you really okay being alone? I worry about you. I smiled. Sweetheart, I'm not alone. I have you. I have Michael and Jenny. I have the grandkids. I have my poker buddies. I have the guys at the coffee shop. But don't you want someone? A partner? I took a sip of my tea. Laura, I had a partner for 42 years. And she was more than enough. I don't need a replacement. She got quiet. Then she squeezed my hand. I miss her too. I know you do, honey. We sat there in the silence, and it was comfortable. And that is the thing. I don't need a marriage certificate to have companionship. I played poker every Tuesday with a group of guys. We argue about politics. We complain about our prostates. We laugh. That is companionship. I have coffee with my neighbor Bill on Saturdays. We talk about our lawns. That is companionship. I FaceTime my grandson in college. He tells me about his classes. That is companionship. I am not isolated. I am not a hermit. I am just choosing how I interact with the world. And here is the other thing I have learned. Love and marriage are not synonyms. You can care about someone without merging your legal and financial identities. If I met a woman tomorrow who liked westerns and black coffee, maybe we'd spend time together. Maybe we'd go to the movies. But I wouldn't marry her. I wouldn't move her in. At this age, marriage is a business contract, and I am retired from business. The fear factor. If you are listening to this, maybe you are in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, and you are thinking about getting married again. I want you to ask yourself one honest, brutal question. Is it love or is it fear? Are you getting married because you have found a soulmate who lights up your world? Or are you getting married because you are terrified of being alone, terrified of dying alone, terrified of what people will say? Because if it is fear, that is not a good enough reason. Fear makes terrible decisions. Fear settles. Fear compromises. Being alone is not a tragedy. Losing your peace is a tragedy. Losing your independence is a tragedy. Waking up every day with a knot of regret in your stomach because you compromised your life away, that is a tragedy. Sometimes I think about what Catherine would say if she could see me now. Sitting in this chair, refusing to move on in the traditional sense. She knew me better than anyone. She knew I am stubborn. She knew I value my quiet. I think she'd understand. I think she'd say, Richard, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I am, in my own way. I am not miserable. I am not wallowing. I am grateful. I had the great love. I won the game. I don't need to roll the dice again. So, I will drink my coffee. I will look at her picture. And I will enjoy the silence. Because I earned it. Thanks for listening to an old man ramble. Take care of yourself. And protect your peace. It's the most valuable thing you own.